Runeglass gems are a highly anticipated addition coming to New World on October 18th with the Brimstone Sands release. The question remains, which Runeglass gem should you use? It might feel like there's too many options, but don't worry, I've got you covered. Here's a look at the current gems and how they affect you when slotted into armor and weapons. These are the different Runeglass effects you can have, and when you combine a standard gem with one of these modifiers, this is what it looks like. Notice that you're losing 2% off that core effect, going from 12% extra damage to 10. That's the basics out of the way. Let's take a look at specific classes. For bow, you're going to want to use Opal and pair that with one of the damage over time effects from Runeglass. For musket, you'll use an elemental gem and one of these modifiers. In your armor, use whatever you usually use with the modifier Sight. I wouldn't suggest using the Sight mod for your weapons though. For melee DPS on the weapons themselves, I've seen range from Opal, Malachite, Jasper, and even just elemental gems. For the modifier, I'd suggest either Leeching, Energizing, or one of the damage over time elemental effects. On your armor, you're likely using a mix of gems. You can actually keep the exact same gems in your armor today if you're focused on being more tanky. If you're an assassin build or you'd like to do more damage, you can swap out your existing gems for a Runeglass version of that gem with the Punishing modifier. Just be aware it does lower your overall damage absorption. Opal is currently the go-to gem for most magic weapons, with Malachite being slotted into Ice Gauntlets some of the time. I do expect this to change. Let's say, for instance, you have an Ice Gauntlet and a Fire Staff. The Fire Staff does the most amount of damage. I think you'll still have an Opal on your Fire Staff, and you'll actually slot a Fire Gem into your Ice Gauntlet. I'll get into why in just a minute. The prefix you'll want for both of these gems on your Runeglass will be Ignited for the damage over time fire effect. It's very important that you have the prefix Ignited for all of your armor as well, as it gives you 2% additional fire damage. The Ignited effect on your armor does in fact increase the fire damage from a ruby gem in your Ice Gauntlet, as well as the damage over time effect from Ignited being on your weapons. Now take this with a grain of salt. I'm not typically a mage player, so if I got this wrong, please let me know in the comments. If you're a healer, well, I have some bad news. Runeglass really isn't going to do much for you. Energizing and Siphoning are really the only two options, and I don't think either one's worth it. Remember, if you sacrifice the full cut diamond, which is 15% boost to healing when you're at full health, you're only going to get 12% if you choose one of these extra perks. For armor, I would say that the exact same thing applies. You would much rather be safer and have more damage absorption than any of the perks. Maybe if you find yourself running out of stamina or mana, there could be an argument for Runeglass. But again, let me know in the comments what you think. For tanks, on your weapons, you can go with Leeching or Energizing if you feel it will help. On your armor, however, you really won't want to sacrifice that little bit of damage mitigation in exchange for one of these perks. I should clarify that this is for PvP specifically. I'm really not sure what the meta will be for Runeglass in PvE. Maybe I'll cover that in a future video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in Eternum.